Hello and welcome to Queendom TV. So we've been exploring the sick and twisted satanic rituals and practices of the Hollyweird elites and the world elites in general. And today I'm going to be telling you guys about the addiction that they don't want you to have, which is of course to none other than the, chemical we've been discussing, adrenochrome. Now, I already talked about adrenochrome and how they harvest it from children. Yes, guys, I just said what I just said. And if you want to know how that works, please check out that video because I don't want to overload you guys with that now. But what I will say is that, and I'm just looking at my notes, by the way. I say that all the time just in case it's new subscribers. For you guys, old subscribers, I'm sorry if it's annoying me saying that, but I'm just letting people know why I'm looking down. Anywho-ha. Now, I talked about how this drug is similar to LSD in terms of being a hallucinogenic, but today I'm going to be talking about its addictive qualities because it's actually something that these guys become addicted to. And I think the funny thing, and it's not funny, but I'm saying the funny thing because that's how people say stuff in this language that we have called English. The funny thing is that once these people get involved, I think this is how the enemy gets people. This is how the devil works, is that he traps you into something that you can't get out of and you become a prisoner. And that's why I believe Jesus promises freedom, because he knows that the enemy is continually trying to put us in a place of slavery. And so these guys become enslaved to this drug that they have to, harvest from children. Because now what basically happens in the body, little science tidbit in here. What basically happens in the body is that it's like how when you take any drug, whether it's alcohol, drugs, whatever thing you're dependent on, eventually your body adjusts and it relies on that thing more than it might rely on something else. So what ends up happening is, from my understanding, and this is me kind of simplifying it for the video, but basically the effects that how their normal adrenaline would work in their body and everything, it becomes suppressed because they're now taking in something else. So their body, which is beautifully built by God to do what it needs to do, and we just have to upkeep, all we do is upkeep, says, oh, well, we don't need to produce adrenaline because you're bringing in adrenochrome, an oxidized form of adrenaline. And so they become dependent in the same way that when we continue to put something into our bodies, that's all that it does. It adjusts, and eventually we become reliant on it, and that's where you get addiction. And that's why when people come out of addictions, it's hard because they experience withdrawal symptoms. And this is the same thing that people who have addicted to adrenochrome experience. Now, the interesting thing that I discovered about this is the fact that this is something that came on from a long time ago, and is also that this is something that's been going on for a long time. A lot of these, and I haven't really mentioned this as much, but a lot of these satanic practices that we talk about now, when I talk about it now, we think about today and we think about technology and we think that this is just a recent thing. A lot of these things are actually very historical, and I even mentioned in the Bible, and I'm going to talk about some of that as well in some of my other videos, because it just highlights the fact that evil has always existed. And I think one of the things that happens when we discuss these kinds of topics is the world we live in now wants us to ignore spirituality unless you're just a spiritual person, which is probably the biggest deception of the devil, in my opinion, because then it makes us think that things that go on just happen because they just happen, and there's no spiritual element to it or spiritual backing as to why they're happening. But in fact, the reason why a lot of these things are happening is because people are engaging in spiritual things. For example, like I mentioned about the Travis Scott situation, and people with the Travis Scott situation, people that were there, guests that went to Astroworld, talked about how when the music started, they felt, people who don't even believe in Christianity felt like they could feel demons entering them just from the music. Not because they drank anything, not because they were giving anything, not because anything was sprayed in the air before, but because as soon as the music started playing and the bass started hitting, that's when people started to get ill. That's when people died. That's when people started to faint and pass out. And people who have been able to tell the tale of what happened have said that they felt, some of them felt that they could feel the demons trying to enter them. And that's exactly what's going on, guys. And I think at this point on my channel, I've spoken about a lot of things, and I will speak about a lot of things in different ways, but certain things I just can't help but say I can't help but say things exactly as they are. And in this case, it's exactly what I'm saying it is. It's very evil. The people in this world who are running this world are very evil people, doing very evil things behind closed doors and trying to hide it, trying to control what we think of them, trying to control our trust in them. I talked in one of my videos, which you can find, I talked about how they purposely, even just the media itself, wants us to trust in them so that when they tell us information, we believe it, so that they can cover up what they really want to do. And when you look into that, which like I said, I covered on this channel as well. You'll be shocked to see the lengths that they will go to that, and how deep and dark and disgusting. I mean, for example, I can even give you a quick little hint about something else I'm going to be talking about. This whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing. This whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing is coming out. One of the interesting things that I found out about this Ghislaine Maxwell thing in my research is the fact that Rupert Murdoch, yes, Rupert Murdoch, who is the owner of, I believe, News Corp, who owns Fox News, 20th Century Fox, a whole bunch of other companies. I talked about this all in a video, all the companies that he owns, was listed as one of the people in Jeffrey Epstein's black book, as they call it. His name and his details came up in that book, where he has a personal relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. And so this man who is in control of the media, this man who's been accused of a lot of other things I'm going to talk about in a separate video, even he, who's also in control of the media, is involved with these kinds of people and these kinds of things. So do you really think that he's going to be putting on Fox News exactly what's going on in the world and what he's doing and other people? Absolutely not. Do you think he's going to take the opportunity to distract us? Yes, he absolutely will. Do you think he's going to take the opportunity to brainwash us and make us think something that's not true? He absolutely will, because first of all, he's covering his own self and he's also covering others. And so that's why I wanted to address this addiction thing today, because it's not just at the point where they're just doing this just for the power. It's also having an addictive effect on them, where they're now reliant on this thing, and why these things have to continue and why they can't let them go. You know, they can't stop. They can't. And I talked about in another one of my videos. I don't know if actually I talked about this in one of my videos, but I feel like I mentioned this, that I discovered something extremely interesting, that based on a woman who sells, I'm not even going to get into that actually, because it's going to be very sciencey, but what I was going to say, I'll put it in slightly different terms. Basically, when you go to the hospital and the hospital takes your blood, or the hospital takes anything from you, any of your bodily fluids, any tests, whatever they're doing, they have the right, they have made themselves have the right to be able to use that for further research and whatever they want to do without getting permission from you. And this is actually why I've talked about on my channel why I won't be going to the hospital. I did videos talking about that, because this is something they've made legal, because they've benefited off of being able to experiment. And this is what these people are like, guys. These people are so deep demonic, that all they want to do is they want to test things. They want to test things out on us. In fact, there was actually a CIA project, I believe it was called like projects, I think it's MK Ultra, where they were testing lots of different things on unwitting American citizens, by the way. One of which was this adrenochrome that they were all taking. And this was something done by the CIA. So if you can't even trust the CIA, just think about what's going on in the world, and just think about how easy it is for them to cover up what they're doing, but also how easy it is for them to kind of distract us from this and make us think that, oh, everything's fine, or what these people are saying is just too much, she's so and so. Like me, for example, I'm just making stuff up and I'm just going off of these conspiracy theories. Well, maybe I am, or maybe it's real. And if it is real, then we need to take it seriously, because if it is real, we need to protect our children. The children are the ones who are being targeted for what they have, and also just the industry in general, and also us, because ultimately we are the consumers. We are the ones who choose to use our free will based on what these people say or do, or what we believe. And so we better believe the right thing, because otherwise we're using our free will to do the wrong things. And I think that's exactly what they're trying to do. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about all of this. I know this is crazy, and I hope that I'm not going to lose any of my subscribers, because I love many of you who I speak to on a regular basis. I know this is very deep, and I think it's important for us to discuss as we discuss everything, because this is really how deep it gets with a lot of the problems that we talk about. So don't forget to subscribe, of course, as well. And other than that, thank you so much for watching through to this video. If you get through to the end, let me know if you did watch through to the end, guys, because people don't really watch these long on my videos. Apparently, my average duration isn't even this long, which is why I've been making shorter videos that can cater more to you guys. But if you guys do miss these longer videos, let me know. Other than that, God bless you all. Thank you so much for being on my channel. I'll see you in my next one, and I'm going to be talking more about a lot of this stuff, because there's so much to unpack. I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.